Hello and welcome. My name is Trismegistus, and today we're going to be playing some more SpaceX Factorio. Why is that not coming through on the screen? Just 1 second. Need to reload that. You're working now? You're working now. Cool. Okay. Very strange. Yeah, so I just need to do something. I am late because it's been a heck of a weekend. I just need to change a setting here as well, because reasons apparently. So that's okay. And then, oh yeah, so for the record, because I'm trying to do this each week, or every stream, I appear to be off the edge of the thing as well. Why is that? Oh, I know why. Yes, 417 was the most recent Friday Facts, which was the Space Age development one. My video has literally gone live an hour and a quarter, and it's an hour and a quarter long before this stream. So, and that was part one. I've got to edit part two after this. It's been quite the weekend. But yes, so the one about a retrospective by Coverex on the development, which was fascinating and interesting. Cool. So yes, so that's that bit done. And now if we flip over to the game proper, nothing seemed to change. Okay, I think we're okay. I might have bonked. Yeah, that's a bit better. I was doing my cleaning this morning. I think I bonked my camera up. No, it's still a bit off, isn't it? I knocked it. Yeah, that'll do. Who cares? Yes, so I don't actually remember. And I need to do another thing as well. I do a lot of this before I even start, don't we? But yeah, that should be okay. Right. Yes. Factorio. I have not played, basically. I've not played anything. I think I bought a game called Dystopia. Dystopia. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically like a completely open sandbox thing where you build like cyberpunk type cities. It's like £5. It's a almost like a tech demo rather than a game, and that's literally all I've played this week. And I played that for half an hour, So I have not touched Factorio since Monday when I did the bonus stream. And I don't really remember what we're doing. I know what we're doing, but I don't know what we're doing. So I know the plan is to do more science, but to what extent and how I want to do that, I'm not at all sure. I was just quickly before the stream, mainly to test it, having a look at the old asteroid belt, because one of the things I do remember that we need to do. And why is that showing like that now? I said in my tweet this would be chaos, this stream. We need to go to the asteroid belt and pick up water ice so that we can, send it to, I was going to call it Volcanus then. Damia, is it? Whichever one we're using for Vulcanite. So there's that. We also need to set up, I think. I don't think we've even got delivery going. It's kind of ready, but in fact, is it ready? Let's look. Well, the train's gone, so I assume it's done a round trip at the very least. Yeah, here she is. In fact, she's kind of emptied out, and we've got thingies ready to go. It's interesting it's not put that in. Why is it set to Nauvis Orbit request? Shouldn't it not be on Damia request? Why is it getting... Oh, no, that's the other one. So it should be the Nauvis Orbit request. Why is it not... Oh, because I haven't set it up. So I haven't even got that far. But this one is kind of set, raring to go, but nothing to actually do. I seem to remember this proved to actually be fairly successful as a sort of a build, everything. I think I'm going to have problems with like production and stuff, but we will have to see. That's a lot of rockets. I wonder if maybe just switching to using rockets is going to be the best thing. Why is it 150 steel in there? I guess I was just getting rid of it, maybe? Because we want something to drain rocket fuel and like coal and stuff, basically. Weirdly. Otherwise it's not going to make anything. But yes, water is the problem here, essentially. And we can get that from the asteroid field, but... Can I... One button. There we go. Like that. Asteroid field. We need to be able to get there and process stuff. I didn't look at the thing, which is what I was actually going to do. So it's got water. You see, it's got no oil, basically. Tiny, tiny bit of iron and quite a bit of copper by the looks of things. That's interesting. But yeah, it's got loads of water, but then no oil. So the question becomes, well, how do we, get it over there, basically? Because we don't have anything that we could use to make either rockets. Well, we could obviously make rockets, but we can't produce rocket fuel. I think we could in technicality, because I could make it from copper, but that's so slow and ridiculous that it's not actually a viable way of doing it. So say with no way of making rocket fuel, because we can't make solid rocket fuel, because we don't have any oil there. I could obviously send, fire rocket fuel there, or send it on a rocket in and of itself. So that's one option. But I also then don't have the production things I need. There's a tiny amount of iron, so making it into rocket parts isn't probably advisable. We have explosives required for that. And also quite a lot of iron, I guess, in the low density structures. So that's not necessarily entirely practical, although we could certainly use the steel from the cannons themselves if we were firing them over. So that's one option. But obviously sulfur required for heat shields, although we can put them on cannons and fire them over. So basically we need some infrastructure and a decision on whether we're going to use the cannons or whether we're going to use the rockets. If we do rockets, we've probably got to have more infrastructure to send rocket stuff there. Or fire it via cannon. Either is kind of viable. But I don't think that was even what I was going to even attempt to do today. I think I was basically in the area kind of ripping this apart. And because we're not doing any research and I don't think we need anything urgently. We could do this beryllium one. Oh, in fact, that's a point. If you can make them from beryllium plate. I mean, you still need cargo pods and rocket fuel, fuel tanks and stuff. Okay. Fluid isothermic generator requires liquid fuel with an energy value to generate electricity. Simple and compact, but lacks the energy efficiency of a larger steam-based system designed for space. Actual fluid consumption depends on fluid fuel value. Okay. So that looks like it turns anything into electricity, anything that can burn. You've also got your Vitamelange. But yeah, from my perspective, this is what I want, really. What do you make the big mining drill out of? Okay, so it's just normal components. It's not beryllium or anything mad like that. What about this mechanical facility? Oh no, that's got gun turrets in it. That's weird. Provides a range of mechanical process: crushing, tearing, shearing, vibration, etc. Okay. But yeah, for me, it's... Oh, look, and also we could do rocket fuel from pyroflux. Interesting. Just requires coal as well. Huh. Interesting. That might be a viable thing for now, this, because I've got so much coal and a overflow of pyroflux that might be quite useful, especially if I'm then thinking about sending rockets full of it to the asteroid belt. Interesting. Anyway, I think we will focus on that, and that means setting up some production science fact. But am I just going to tear all this apart? We now have, you know, chests, basically. Yeah, so I don't have to mess about too much with a lot of stuff. Do I have many... yeah, I got 60 odd in space. Okay. Right, and I've got 50 on me. I guess it's just a case of biting a bullet, really. Biting the bullet. Okay, now getting on with it. Do I rip this up? Feels like I shouldn't. What didn't we come in with? Because this is still empty. Yeah, we came in with like 200 of them. Have I not got them in my... And solar panels, because that's a point we're a bit short on. In fact, I need to give this a bit of a kick up the bum, don't I? Get it all emptied out properly. Yeah, okay. So I think I'm going to tear this down, basically. I'll do it manually, because... reasons. Oops. Because I don't think these things basically act as logistics, do they? They can't actually take out of there. So I'd have to put some stuff in chests to give Loggybots access. The question then, though, is with the whole... what do you call it? Like, yeah, robot death thing. Is that the best thing to do? I think also my kind of system I've set up, it's probably a bit dependent on, because we have loads of steel and yet it's still ordering in 1,000 steel. Wait, what did I did remove that, but I don't think it had any recipes on it. Oops. Because one of the things I am wondering about is whether I sort of bother with like a bus type approach. Feels like that's really expensive. Oops. Yeah. So, what have I got on that? No. Yeah, it feels like it needs to monitor the entire logistics system rather than kind of just the contents of the chests as such. So if we did that, what would that look like? I'm probably going to need a bunch more of them anyway. And no green wire? Oh, set to 0. Good. So I hadn't appreciated these as separate. Oops. What are you connected to then? Yeah, separate sort of signal chains, basically. Can we get a level in there? It's sure. I know. We can just do read logistics network on it. Look at all them red circuits. Do barrels. Tell me yeah. More barrels than you can shake a stick at. Which of course is all steel, and that's like my point basically. There's no point shooting steel up here if every, you know, whatchamacallit represents a, you know, if every barrel is a bit of steel, and then that's full. You see. Yeah, see. Crikey. Because those are all steel chests, that's why it's not moved them over. No. Blimey. Oops, just separated the networks. Have I not got any? Why are my bots not doing some of these jobs? Okay. We're getting there. Slowly. Very, very slowly. So they're all full. Okay. Oops. Okay. Well, oh, you not got power? Okay. Oh, I've disconnected it. Right, I see. Oops. And we obviously have this water ice here, so I can experiment with that, couldn't I? Dead bot. Because that's the problem basically with using the logistics robots, is that, you know, they're going to die essentially, and they are dying. Then there's an attrition. It also therefore starts to make a bit more sense why that's a mechanic in this, because oops, no. Because as I say, you know, they need to be replaced, and of course that adds a whole logistics challenge. So have I not got any rabbit? Okay. What the heck is that? Broken data card. All of the data cards. Okay. How are we doing? Oh, I deconstructed that, didn't I? I don't think I meant to do that. This is a cheeky way of getting rid of some stuff. In fact, you might as well. No. Do that as well. Okay, that's better. You are very slow on this surface, aren't you? I mean, I hate the jetpacks. Maybe I get rid of those two. Put the legs in. Yeah, it's ever so slightly better. Those random insertress. We've got gaps, haven't we, in the space platform? Weird. Okay. Oh yeah, I got that scrap and stuff as well. Blimey. Wow, look at all those junk data cards, crikey. You have to have a fairly serious recycling system. All I was really trying to get to was to build a space platform and like an assembly thing. That's what I was initially trying to get to with this. Oh, come on. Blimey. Those again. How many bots do I have here? 120, that's not too bad. Crikey. I think you can reprocess the junk cards, can't you? That's right, yeah. I'd normally mention about the Friday facts, but it's a slightly odd situation that the video hasn't properly gone live. Which I say is a bit, bit odd for one of these streams. Meaning, I mean, one of them's gone live, the other part hasn't been live, and that's the speculation bit, which is the type of stuff I'd probably be talking a bit more about. But I had some thoughts about, particularly the Gleba one, what they'd sort of shown on there, and maybe what they've been thinking about as systems. It's quite interesting. You know what they've done, how they develop. Sounds like Arundel's like, I don't know, some sort of machine, basically. The way it was kind of expressed in the Friday Facts, it almost sounded like I have to like hold him back from like coming up with ideas and stuff. I mean, I guess a lot of it, as we've sort of seen, is it's kind of in SpaceX. You know, he's obviously got the ideas fundamentally, and you know, he's repurposing them. That's probably not a fair way of putting it, but you know, they're being realised in SpaceX. Let's put the science packs in there. This thing as well. With some of it. I'm sure others are, you know, he's having to come up with new stuff and what have you, but I say, if he's essentially already had the idea of some system he'd like to do, and then, you know, found it, but he couldn't implement it in as a mod, or it's impractical, or have you, then he's able to just sort of pull on that and say, right, well, this is what I always wanted to do. So, you know, let's put it in. But even so, it sounds like it's a bit... I say they sound like... They, you know, the impression that was given was they have to kind of rein him in. I'd sort of say that 200 ideas is probably too much. Maybe we go with 5. You know. Okay. We've still got plenty in the room in all the chests, which is great. What are they actually doing here? Are they putting these... Yeah, I think they've put them into the... Okay, they've taken that as being... That's probably not what we really want right at this stage. rather they put it in those chesticles. If we can. Thanks, guys. Nearly there. So I don't know. I could leave it here. Oh no, we got loads of. I guess I never cleared it out from when it first arrived. Hello, Senna. How you doing? Governor. All right. Having a good day? Yeah, thanks for joining on Monday, by the way. I was kind of anticipating that would just be me talking to myself like in the old days. I mean, it's me talking to myself anyway, isn't it? That's like a very reductivist way of putting it, but it's kind of what all live streaming is in a way, I suppose. Right, I think we're basically there. Is that full? Yeah. Okay. I say, do I get rid of this one? Do I get rid of this one? I think we should take them out of it no matter what. What a great news! I just finally finished your video without the speculation. There's a little bit of speculation in it towards the end, and I kind of done a bit throughout. It was one of the reasons it was taking me so long was I'd done it. I hadn't really carried on the lessons I've learned, if you see what I mean, because I kind of learnt to save the speculation for the end, because then it's not such a nightmare to edit. And I am aware that I'm sort of serving a couple of different audiences with it. With you know, some people have read the Friday Facts and don't really want me to read it out for them. But other people have said, they don't bother reading it and they prefer me reading it, sort of thing. And that's why I started putting that, comment on things, so people, if they were skimming through, they could, or like if they go, they stick it on 2 times or what have you, they can then see, oh right, well this is a new bit, as it were. But yeah, so, and I kind of hadn't learned those rules where, nowadays I try and do all the speculation at the end, so I don't, I don't have any kind of sport. Because I do the commentary, I do, notes and information and that sort of stuff. But try and put the speculation, or leave the speculation till the end, so that it's a lot easier to edit. Because I don't tend to trim the bits where I speculate so much. It's more freeform and what have you. I hadn't done that in that video, and so I ended up chopping some things around, and it was all a bit of a pain. And I once I'd done the I started to record at 12:30, because I'd literally read it through over lunch, because I got off work a little bit early, and or even earlier, and so I'd read it through, and it's quite a long one. I was like, oh crikey, that's at least half-hour read, just reading it. And then, of course, I did my usual speculation, and I finished at 3:30, I think it was. No, it would have been later than that, because I started at 12:30. I finished at about 4:30, I think. Which I'm usually a couple of hours into the edit by that point, or an hour or so. And I was like, okay. I haven't done any of my chores that I've got to do. I've got 3 hours worth of footage to edit. Right. That's not going to work then, is it? So I have dumped it into a second file, basically, a second edit thing. Where what do you call it? Timeline, I guess. And my job after this is to start editing that, so that I can get it out sometime tomorrow. But it took a while to read through and for it to sink in, especially the scale of Kovrix's base. I'm not sure if that is entirely all his. From what I understand, I think some of that is a base I think V's done. Because bits of it I'm pretty sure we've seen before. So I'm not entirely sure that's all just his. And I think some of it is actually from the multiplayer. You know, from the LAN party. So, you know, kind of a joint base. So I'm not sure. It's all from his attempt at 1 million science. But I think quite a lot of it is, you know. So it is quite a big scale base. The bit with grenades, someone's already commented that because what I usually do once I've done the videos, once I'm a good way into the edit, you know, because I take breaks. I can't do it. I can't edit for like continuous periods because I find it a bit boring. And so I'll go and check the Reddit and check the Discord and see what people have been saying, particularly to find if there's been any Easter eggs I've missed or what have you. But I literally haven't even opened Reddit or Discord, so I don't know what people have been saying. But someone has commented that the grenades are actually a recycling thing, so I don't know if that's something they've said or they're just guessing at that. No, my luck, it's another developer. I seem to be acquiring a bit of a, I've said this before, a bit of a thing of a few developers, Wooby developers watch my videos, and so sometimes they're saying things that are the real truth, as it were, rather than speculation. But of course, a lot of people, when they say something, they're taking a guess, and they'll present it as fact. You know, this is this, and it's like, well, do you know that it's that, or are you just guessing? Or I think we discussed that before, actually, where people are like, well, you know, it's this, and it's like, well, do you know it's that? And it turns out no. I don't know it at all. But yeah, someone's commented that the grenades are are basically recycled, because it's although you lose a lot of stuff when you recycle, and they have mentioned this in, when they introduced recycling, that you can basically you have a bit of a choice of whether you like mine locally or try and send the products that you want to your where you want them, or do you send things that can be recycled? Because especially, I guess, with how they've done the weight system, I should just stick all of my stuff in the chest. Them, obviously. And then, yeah, it's like, a grenade is X pieces of iron and X pieces of coal. So if you send it, when it recycles, you get 50% of them back. But the way they work the weight out, it's not actually a direct correlation between the weight of the constituent items and the items. So if you put together I can't remember what it is for a grenade. What is it? 10 pieces of coal and 5 pieces of iron plate. When you recycle, I guess they do I don't know whether they round up or down, but if you get 50% of it back, you get 5 coal back and 3 iron plate. And the maths is such that, if you put 5 coal and 3 iron plate into a cargo rocket, it would weigh more than a grenade. So a grenade represents a compression of weight, essentially. And so taking a grenade and recycling it, even though you lose half the items, is more efficient than just sending those items. I think that's what they're implying anyway. I don't know. Legendary quality fan base, am I right? I don't know. Erendor said that the brain creature is not on Fargora, at least, but he would not say anything more about it. Oh, right, okay. So it's not on Fargora, okay. I mean, I wasn't sure what to make of the statement, because, you know, we obviously know that what I've been calling the Big Stumpy Boy is on Gleba, and we saw biters on the map, so, and like the little tiny little dots for normal biters, so I don't think he's the only enemy there, but the way it was phrased was a bit odd in the Friday Facts. But then you get that, don't you? Because people don't, you know, yeah, it's a second language type of thing to some of the devs. But yeah, the phrasing was a bit odd. It implied that that was the only, you know, thing enemy on Kleber, which I can't see, as I say, but maybe. So I was interpreting it that the, you know, thinking that the normal biters were probably there as well, and he's just a big version of them. I kind of thought maybe not on Folgora. Okay. I mean, that's where I thought it. Well, no, I think they said. Did they say biters weren't really on Folgora? I can't remember. I got it in my head that they've sort of said that there's no biters on Folgora, which is where the whole idea that it might be some kind of robot or an automated defense system type situation on Folgora. Pretty sure there are some biters of some description on Volcanus, I think. I'd love to have the time to do my enemies and military video, but I don't know. Just don't see how I can get it done before they actually tell us. Right, I can't hand make space platform, can I? Because we've got a few gaps. I cannot remember where it is. It's there. No, I can't hand make it. Okay. But we could set up a little production and get bots to do it kind of for us for now. So, because there's bound to be loads of stuff in the old whatchamacallit. And then space scaffold. Oh, that's way too few. 13, 13, 13. Just let that chug away. I should put a filter on in case they get any funny ideas. Can I get some speeds in that? Oh, that was a bit wonky because this isn't properly connected. Do we have any more of them? I don't know if we do. Yes, I sort of assumed that the brain creature was going to be on Gleba. Had I? No, well, I don't know. When they said it was like or didn't have biters or something, that sort of changed my mind. But because I'm thinking it's a, you know, it's a zappy, uses its big brain to zap you basically, or maybe makes a shield. Those are sort of my fairly mundane guesses. But it could easily be on Gleba, couldn't it? As a sort of protective thing. I'm not convinced there's going to be. I don't know. Maybe there will. But Aquila could have no enemies on it. That it could be an environmental hazard, was my guess. The cold, basically, and it's about keeping yourself warm rather than fighting biters. But I don't know. They don't seem to be bothering with heat as a mechanic, other than heat pipes and because steam never loses. We've got a weird situation, in my opinion, where the the organic stuff decays. The organic things have a shelf life, essentially, but heat doesn't. Which, I mean, fair enough. I suppose that's sort of true in a way, but for organics, that's sort of true. But heat decays a lot quicker than vegetation spoils, basically. That's not particularly... And as I've argued with the whole fluid change, it's never really been a game that's been all that realistic when you really think about it. But still, that is a bit... Because that's too far over, isn't it? So, if we do say that now... But yeah, it's a strange thing to introduce a spoilage mechanic and then just let heat be infinite and never change, sort of thing. So, I'm not 100% sure what I think about that sort of contradiction. As I say, I'm not thinking about it from a realistic point of view. Just what mechanics are we getting and what are we not getting? So, if that's there... Can I put that there? I think I can. I can have like a bank of solar and stuff. There's not really any point putting any, things on. Why are the construction pots not? Do I even have scaffold on my list? No. Why are you all not building that with that? Have I got two? Oh, I've got two networks. Okay. Okay, fine. I'll let you off then. Interesting possibility with a grenade. Such trade-offs obviously... One solution is always best. Not obviously one solution is always best. Nice to have and makes it a lot more interesting. Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the mechanics are kind of going to break, or some of the choices might kind of break my brain a bit, because something like that, it's completely not obvious, if you see what I mean, of like... And I hope the... What would be a better way to phrase it? I hope the UI effectively is there and like helps you essentially and supports you doing that stuff, because if it's not obvious how much things weigh, and therefore, what would kind of be the best solution, in the particular circumstance, then it could get a bit weird, if you see what I mean, of... You'd have to do a lot of experimentation, I think, to work some of these things out, if they're not at all obvious, because grenades being turned into iron, or recycling grenades is just something I would never probably think of. Why grenades in particular? You'd need to get into the maths of, how it all works essentially. you know, what weighs what and what represents a greater sort of packing density and all this sort of stuff, which for, you know, some people is going to be absolute kind of heaven of, you know, things to do, as it were. But I don't know, it just strikes me as being, would help if as being so non-obvious, you know. I could, you know, something like putting gear wheels and, you know, sending them and recycling them is you know, a fairly obvious thing to do, because it becomes a, you know, if it's a 50% recycle rate, then out of every iron gear wheel you get one iron plate. So, you know, but then they, you know, effectively then it sort of doubles, you know, because they stack to 100, an iron plate stacks to 100, you're sort of getting the same, like, amount out, if you see what I mean. So a stack of iron gear wheels becomes a stack of iron plate. So that would be fairly sort of understandable. Unlike that, where steel, for example, a stack of barrels is 10, isn't it? So a stack of barrels, you know, only becomes, because they're one each, but you'd get half out. And this is another thing. I don't know how a lot of the rounding is going to work, but that would effectively become 5 pieces of steel. You know, a stack of barrels becomes 5 pieces of steel. And of course, a steel thing stacks to 100. So the sort of packing density of how many you could get in versus how much, you know, you would get out is different. But does that matter? Does volume matter? You know, is it? I never really or don't remember whether you get a limited space in the rocket as well as a limited weight. And of course, the question then is, well, how much does a barrel weigh compared to a piece of steel? You know, is it the same? Because that grenade thing to me implies that a grenade does not weigh as much as the 5 pieces of iron and 10 pieces of coal, and in fact weighs a lot less than the, you know, equivalent to those. And the fact that it then stacks to 100 means that, you know, you're getting a lot of sort of packing density. But all sorts of stuff like that is going to be quite complicated. It's like, are we going to end up with a situation where it's best to make spidertrons and fly spidertrons to other planets and then just recycle them? You know, even if you're not using them as spidertrons. I say that sort of thing is just going to, you know, mess with my head, I think. They said Fargori is lifeless, so robots could fit. It's interesting to hear your thoughts on their choice of words, as you are a native English speaker. Yeah, it's a bit of an never. I mean, the trouble is, of course, a lot of them aren't. I know there's a few Americans now in the team, but a lot of them aren't native speakers. So some of the things I do worry that I'm kind of misinterpreting, and it's just, you know, a language thing rather than they meant something specific, different. But as I understand it, I think V is from America. I'm not 100% sure, and I think he like edits the Friday Facts. Kind of guessing, I don't actually know, but you know, I think he's the one who kind of, you know, make sure they kind of say what they want them to say. But say I'm guessing at that. I don't really know. Why are you not filling these bits of space platforming? I don't know. Just lazy again. Lazy again. Do we want more of these? Because they're not making it very fast still, are they? I think maybe double that up. Okay. So yeah, what we also need to do... Oh, they built this now. If we like plumb this in as well. If I do... I'll probably deal with that actually. And say read logging network. We should now have like a change of signals. such that... Yeah, so it's not going to request in, you see. I can't see steel. Oh, 16,000 steel we've got, you see. So that's not going to request any steel from here for quite a while. Hopefully. Okay, so... Do I put it on the bottom or the top? I think maybe... Why did I tip that request? So if we do that... I think I'm going to physically limit these, but also... Because they can't access that though, can they? So yeah, maybe if we set that like that. Some filters. But yes, it's the thing I'm always looking for, really, with the Friday Facts. It's the whole, well, that's a weird way of phrasing it, you know? Because it's like, well, why would you say X if you didn't mean that? Like, the new building, you know? Why say, well, there's a new building when you've already revealed the... whatchamacallit, you know, the... What's it called? Biochamber? Bioreactor? Why not just say the bioreactor works really well with this as well? Because that would be the obvious thing to say. But instead, it's not been phrased like that. Okay. So why is it not sending more of them then? How many of those have we got? Can't tell. Let's have a look on... Ran, was it? Ah, no. What? Granite powder. No steam. Why no steam? Oh, because no water. Why no water? Oh! Because a meteorite appears to have landed on our... Well, that's not something you see every day. Meteorites landing on your water pump. Okay. Trouble is, I didn't leave them anything, did I? Oh, we left some bits. So I kind of made the exact same mistake again. Yeah, because it doesn't have any roboports. Okay. We do have, like, requester chests and stuff. Why have they put chemical plants in there? No. So we've got these. If I change this to roboports... There. And then... Oh, they got basically none of that, have they? Oh. Hmm. Any storage chests here? Nothing's happening, so no. I didn't even leave any storage chests. Wow. Okay. Let's... Because what I can do, maybe, is if I change this to storage chests. And then... Oh, it dumps it on the floor. That's interesting. And then we request that in. We can't request that in because they've not got any of that. They've not got any green circuits. Oh, this is just pathetic, isn't it? I guess I could fly a rocket over there. Because I can't just shoot, you know, robot over there. Crikey. Let's forget about that then. So we know that that's not working. What are you meant to be requesting in? Oh, that's heat shields. So we got, oh, we would have loads of heat shields in here, wouldn't we? Because, yeah, so I brought a load on the rocket. Okay. Okay. So we've been making some of that. Not a great deal. Yeah, so, I mean, I was saying earlier, quite a lot of the interesting stuff is actually, or interesting to me anyway, for this one. It's a bit of a different one. It's actually in the second video, so I almost don't want to spoil it in a way. But there's quite a few things on Glebe I thought were interesting in that picture. Obviously, none of it's, well, the implication is none of it's like in the game, basically. But I did think the mention of 12. Excuse me, 12, whatchamacallit, 12, fruits, essentially, was kind of mad. Get rid of that. Yeah, that was, I said in that, well, I was saying in the video, but it's almost in the Angels and Bob's territory of, this is just way, a ridiculous number of intermediates. Do I want to maybe do it with... Yeah, let's have a bit of a grid like this. 12 fruits. Crikey. My assumption is like they were like it was almost like a one-to-one. Like this was the fruit that you used to make plastic, and this is the one where you could get ore out of it, or you know, and that's kind of what they were doing, and that they've switched more to. We can use this fruit to make these 10 different things, and you can use this one to turn it. If you turn it into this, you know, combine two of fruit 1 and 10 of fruit 3, fruit 2 rather. Then you can make something else that you could then turn into, you know, steel or something like that. I'm guessing they've probably gone more down that route. Okay. Okay. really expensive, the space platform. Because I don't think I can make... No, you see, it's slightly too long. Oh. I hope I've got my... Yes, I have. I gotta be honest, I'm finding that mechanic very annoying. Floating away in space. I'm glad they've not done that in Space Age. Oh, did that use up 50 platforms? Crikey. Okay. It was one of the best Friday Facts, I'd say. No content if I remember correctly, but I really like those stories of development and get a glimpse of their reasoning. Yeah, it's like, I don't know if you watch the GDC videos, so Game Developer Conferences. You know, they give a lot of talks, the developers, of various games, and a lot of them are quite techy, you know, but you get quite a lot of retrospectives, you know, of sort of older games and stuff like that. You know, so there'll be one of like, I think there's one of Doom and you know, those sorts of things, and it's always a really enjoyable watch. It's also really good from a... I get a bit frustrated, if I'm honest, with the whole... how to phrase it? The whole thing of, you know, crunch is bad, and I'm not saying crunch is good, but it's not realistic. You know, people... Because crunch is just a term that, you know, has come to mean kind of almost any sort of overtime in the gaming industry. You know, people do overtime all the time in all sorts of industries. It's not a, you know, exclusive thing to games. Like essentially doing overtime. But the sort of the problem is that it's like become a cultural thing of unless you're doing all this extra work, then you're not dedicated to your job. That's where it's problematic. And the thing is with that's like a societal thing, really. That's not an exclusive thing to video games. You know, that's a sort of a problem with kind of Western work culture, essentially. To get a bit deep on the subject. You know, but setting that aside, it's become a crutch in a sense for game development. Is kind of the problem more. I would say that companies have come to expect it and rely on it to happen in order to get games finished and stuff. And as I say, that's more the problem, rather than just a sort of a thing of, well, you know, I mean, I do overtime all the time, you know, but I then get it back straight away, and it's short periods, you know, it's a couple of weeks or, I mean, that was why I had all those streams where I was moaning about my job, you know, being too much, because it went on for a very, very, very long time in that particular scenario, and that was where it got problematic, because I just got more and more tired. And say that's the type of thing that's bad. The fact that you had to do a bit of overtime to get the job done that week is just work, you know, in Western society. That's kind of the expectation of a lot of jobs, and that's probably not great, but it is what it is. What was that? How did I get onto that topic? I don't know where I got that from, but yeah. So no, can't remember why I got onto that topic. Yeah, but most GDC presentations I've seen are many years ago. I used to read many articles too. Last couple of years, I haven't done much game dev work at all, so it's a subject I haven't done much research on. Burning Crunch is basically introductory. Don't all just basically have it. I'd say I wouldn't. The difference I would say is I think crunch is useful as a term to do that whole to cover that whole point of the overtime never stops. So effectively, if your job is let's just say a 40-hour-a-week job, and you never do less than 60 hours, then really your job is a 60-hour job. It's not a 40-hour job, and that's where it gets into the problematic territory to me. That's where it's a bad thing, where it's basically everyone is expected to do overtime, and the overtime never stops. It's always there. It's always, and it's not a case of you electing to do it. It just becomes an expectation of the employer. That anyone who joins the company is going to do all this extra work. That to me is wrong and bad. But there's a milestone next week. We need to get this thing done. Can you do a bit of overtime for the next couple of weeks? It's just work. That's just what work is. Especially if it's then accompanied, and it gets into good territory or okay territory to me, if it's then accompanied with but then you can take the next couple of days off, or you'll get this overtime pay, or what have you. And from what I can tell, the games industry tends to have the worst of both worlds, where it's expected people are going to do all that extra work, because otherwise they're not passionate. I do drop out of the air quite a lot, these bots do. And you kind of don't have any choice, and that to me is bad. It should only be there if you have it, and you sort of seem to get this culture of, if you're not doing that overtime, if you're not seen to be sat there at your desk 24/7, you're not going to get the promotion, or you're not going to get if you're a contractor, you're not going to get the permanent position, and excuse me, all that sort of stuff. And so those are all problematic things. But we need you to do a little bit more this week, because we've got a deadline to hit. It's not even, I wouldn't even think of it as crunch. It's just a bit of overtime to get the job done. Let's say, so it's then accompanied by a compensation of some description. Then I personally don't have any problem with it. So I don't even know how did that come about? Why did I start rattling about that? No, I've drifted off again. Okay, so we need to be down to there. Okay. Oops. I agree. At my work, we did it on our own violation, almost always because we need to and wanted to get it done. So it's quite relaxed in that way, even though it's overtime. So what do you think the release date will be? I'm assuming that it is something close to the hint, that was given in that binary, the number strings. And because most games release on a Tuesday or a Thursday, I think it'll be 22nd. I think, is it 22nd of October is the Tuesday, or the 24th, or maybe the week before, maybe the Thursday before, something like that. I kind of don't see them releasing it on a weekend, but I think it'll be the end of October. Basically, I think it'll come out, in the range of 20-ish of October. I don't know. What's your guess? What do you think? It was interesting seeing they sort of comment about the art team having gone from 2 to 8. I had no idea there were only two people on the art team. You know, when they were presumably doing 1.1. I suppose it also depends a bit on what you classify as art, because isn't Erendel technically concept artist or something? But actually does quite a lot of the, you know, the sort of game designy things. Oh, I've used it all up. Just absolutely choose through this space platform. Stuff. How have they built them ones? I guess that was where the old edge was. It's outside the construction area. Okay. How are we doing? Good to have a use for the steel, I guess. How much low density structures have we got? Because I don't think I'm actually shipping them in. It's very difficult to tell what these are set on, isn't it? So maybe I should fix that. If I put... I'm just wondering if it would be better, you know, if I had a independent one of these for each one, rather than a bank of them. I think that probably makes a bit more sense. So if I disconnect that, it's going to go mad, isn't it? This sort of problem. So perhaps if I then do... I'll put these on as well, maybe. Yeah, so if we take that to in fact, why don't I copy that into those four and then just kind of take those out, because they're not connected, are they? So, was that copper? No, that's iron. Machines. It's iron. That one's the copper. And this one's the glass. And then we can... I'm not happy about the... power parts is a bit wonky. So maybe... the other one? Bit wonky. Bit wonky. No. It would be... No, maybe. Let's give them all the power bar and we can just wire them all together. So it'd be that one and that one. Because these all need wiring. And that's just a random one. So why has that not got just copper? I think the binary numbers were trolling, but the most reasonable interpretation must be the 20th to the 27th of October, so in that range I think. Also, since Govrex's interview thing was recent and from the alleged translation, seemed very doable before October. Yeah, I mean that did seem to be the way it was translated. That you know that he was saying October when he was kind of expecting it to happen. I do think. I mean, there are some quite good examples in a way of how to phrase it. Because when they, you know, one of the things he referred to was the article where, you know, he sort of used the phrase about a year, you know. And then people seem to take that to mean, well, it's exactly a year away. So we've got a lot of people sort of thinking it's coming in, because that Friday Facts was in August, I think. And so you've then got a lot of people going, right, well, that must mean it coming out in August. I was like, no, well, about a year is not a year. So that'll be that one, that one. Yeah, it's the risk of... It's like, I know they had a lot of trouble... Oh, not a lot. It didn't sound... you know, bad as it were. Why are you shooting things in? Or are they bots dropping out of the sky? It does appear to be sending things, which is not ideal. I think it stopped. And that's always the risk, isn't it? Because you can never... It's why they have, you know, PR people, basically. Because it's like, you can say something and you said what, you know, said something and you're like, well, that clearly means X. And then other people just completely misinterpret it, basically. Even though it should be fairly obvious what you've said. You know, you've not said anything complex in a sense, but people have got to get the wrong end of the stick all the time, don't they? Hopefully that's okay. So it's a little difficult to tell because it's now got the whole shebang on the old logistics thing. I mean, I could just turn this off temporarily. Do that. See what signals it's got going on. So it's got like 1,000 minus that 1,000 plastic. Which would make sense because, yeah, it's got plastic in the system rather than... Okay. Yeah, that's okay. So it'll blast a few things over, but if we end up losing a few, it's not too problematic. But yeah, if we read the login network contents, then I think we are back to being okay. I'd like to have things to be able to sort them and like filter that listing. But you know, I think you can do that. It's also a bit complicated. If I were to guess, perhaps sooner, well, assuming the binary numbers were meant to mislead as to a later release date. I know they're trollers. I don't think they'd go that far. I mean, that's almost like, you know, I don't know. A lot of things to me, I think they're more harmless fun rather than, because that feels a little malicious. That you know, to do a sort of a full-on, give you the totally wrong information type thing. Maybe I'm too trusting. I don't know. That feels a bit too far. You never know. That. Okay. So, because what I'm trying to do. Is put in the whole Volcanus order. Ran, you know, the Vulcanite blocks basically. Because I've, you know, got them. I haven't even actually ordered any of them in. So we need that, and we'll set that on minus 1,000. No, that was 100, wasn't it? Numbers, how do? Okay, and then that needs setting on that. Get rid of that. So you're saying, send me in 1,000. Nothing is happening. Why not? Because that should now have minus 1,000 going out as a signal. So Damia should be getting a signal down here. Now this orbit request. Ah, well, yes. It's doing something. Oh, of course it's got to load them in first. And that's not quick. Because it sends like 100, I think, is it? Ah, and of course I need to turn it on. So we need to send it to Malvis Orbit. And it's that one. Then hit end to clear that. But we need to go back to end. So that we can go and look at Damia again. No, wrong part. Because then I need to set that on. And bang, it does the shooty bang. It's quite slow putting it in, isn't it? But then it sends 200 each pop, I think. So. Cool. But that means. Yeah. No. Yes, there we go. So we've got vulcanite blocks. Excellent. Not being delivered at a particularly fast rate, but we got them. And that's all that matters. What have you run out of? You run out of low density structures. Now, they're not on our order system and we have a spare one. So, how about I check now this and I have a look. Where? Look. So we are not requesting in. Yes, we are. No, we're not. Ah, I've set it up, but I've not actually got it to fire. Okay, that's why it's not there. So, now this orbit. That one. And set that to that at minus, because they only stack to 10, don't they? 100. You can be that. Cap that off. Oh no. Oh right, you can cap that. Because I guess it's just a chest, isn't it? Okay, there we go, back to... Now this... You've not got any low density... Oh, it's because they're not being... Are they... Wait, what do they stack to? $50. Okay. So actually this should be about 10 rows, 500, shouldn't it? Yeah. So we pop that to now this. Turn that to 500. 500 incoming. Is it connected to the right power part? Yes it is. Okay. So we just set that to on. Wait to see what happens. Why is it not getting a signal? Ah! I haven't set the... There we go. Oh yeah, that statement should have not been assumed to be that precise. When I read it, I instantly thought, okay, so it's only going to be the earliest because of how common delays are with some of them. No, I say it's just a, but it's like a language thing, isn't it? Of, and also, you know, you can never legislate for people's understanding of things and familiarity with terminology and stuff like that. So, you know, it's like. So I can't remember the exact phrase that they used was, but if it's around a year, then technically, you know, it could be less than a year. You know, it could be, depending on what you know you want, what you mean. It could be, say, between 10 months and 14 months, or between 8 months and I don't know, 16 months, or something like that. That's your intended range when you say that. in reality, you know, if someone says around a year to me, I interpret that as meaning at least a year. I don't think I would expect anyone saying around a year to produce it in less than a year, just because that's my experience of, you know, working situations, basically, of, you know, how quickly projects I've worked on and all that sort of stuff. If someone's saying around a year, they mean at least a year. They don't actually mean around a year. But that's just, you know, my experience and I can get loads of it now. And that sort of thing. So you can never, as I say, you can never legislate or know whether someone is actually familiar with that type of vagueness, basically. But it's also the sort of thing you're only ever going to work out like after the fact, you know. So once you've got to that stage, of, you know, of having had that experience, as it were, having had that kind of level of experience. Beforehand, you could you know, easily understand it to mean, well, it might be 6 months, you know. We're finally starting to get somewhere, I think, with this. A lot of busy work, man. Oh. How are they? He described they have now, last week after the LAN, entered the third iteration. I don't know how much they can finalise in 3 months. Basically, October should be my guess. Yeah. It might, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it does end up being, you know, Christmas or something like that. I don't. As you say, I actually cut it out of the video because it felt a bit unfair to say it, but I was a bit surprised that, you know, they've effectively only done their second playtest, like multiplayer big playtest, a week ago. Well, obviously the blog could have been written a month ago, maybe, you know, and it's only just been published. But yeah, it seemed a bit recent to be saying that, as you say, they're only just now in that third iteration period. But then the things he described as them doing seem to be like polish activities rather than, you know, it didn't feel like that blog was saying we're going to completely rework Volcanus, or we're not happy with how, you know, undisclosed planet, you know, Aquila works or what have you. There didn't seem to be any implication of that. But it did feel like if it still took them 4 days to play through, I wonder if there is a little bit of tweaking they want to do with, because he's talked about balancing, you see. You know, that to me implies making some of the recipes a bit simpler, or some a bit more complex, or maybe tweaking how much you get out of recycling. Maybe it gives 60% rather than, you know, 50%, that type of thing. Just to make it a little bit easier, or a little bit quicker, or whatever. Come on. I'll build it then. Lazy bots. But yeah, it didn't feel like there was, you know, any big new features expected, essentially. And of course, having done it, I'd say that's the bit I expect them to be most confident with, because they've obviously done it for 1.1, so estimates there are probably going to be the easiest to get right. Excuse me. But yeah, you never know. Release date could be 2027. I don't think it will be. But you never know. Okay. Are we basically at a stage where we can actually start building some actual things for actuality? And what are those things going to be? I think we are. Yep. Okay. Let's pop in a... Pop it in here maybe. I'm just thinking about doing basically a bot base make everything, but with the number of bots that are dying, how many have I got left now? Oh wow, I've only got 86 left. We started out at 120. So it is still quite an attrition rate, isn't it? I mean, how difficult... Because I should really set up some bot, construction up here, really. Anyway, especially with that attrition thing. So, red circuits and green circuits. Am I already blasting those in? Can I send them in? I'm not sure I can. Can I send circuits? No. Okay, so we've got to make some circuits. I think maybe that's what I need to do. Is kind of work out. What stuff I need to make, basically. So, I need to make green circuits. Are we sending some stone tablets up here? We're not, but we are sending stone brick. Okay. So we need to make stone tablets, but then better to direct feed them in, wouldn't it? We'd also need to make copper plate, okay. Then we need to make red circuits, which also need copper cable, so I say copper plate, copper cable. So we could do some sort of arrangement like that. Plastic and green circuits, so probably better if they're being made, but how does that work? So now I think if we do that, and then make that one the red one. That's annoying, isn't it? Perhaps this is what I should be making over here. Yeah. Okay. So, if this is green circuits, and this is copper wire, this is stone tablets, then this can also be the same things, and that can feed into red circuit one, but that also needs additional copper wire, but they're super slow, so perhaps do something a bit like that maybe. Yeah, that'll do. Blue circuits then require red and green. Could I try and fit them in there? But also sulfuric acid. So we need a deacider. Like so. Oh, hello, biped. Welcome to the stream, by the way. So, dedicated cargo rockets for high-use items work great and self-regulate since it won't launch till pads are empty. Yeah, it's what I need to set up properly, but I've not really set my Alvis up basically for doing that. But yeah, I think circuits and I say the problem is really I haven't got the setup on Alvis to kind of do that, but that's probably what I should be doing really for like green circuits, red circuits, blue circuits, that sort of thing. I just haven't really set it up properly. Is the problem more with those? But also, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm literally, this is kind of the first proper development of the space platform, so I'm a bit of a weird catch-up mode. I have been playing this for a long time, and I have done a big build on Nalvis, but it's not set up for, like sending the stuff out of Nalvis, essentially. So yeah, that's probably what I need to address, but... did I miss? Yeah, I did. Sorry. So, they should really brace themselves for next week's Friday vaccine if it's 2027. After Rico fighting over the fluid changes and some people getting temporarily banned, imagine a 2027 release date. I really don't get the whole level of... I don't know. I don't know if anger's the right word, but I found it weird. I gotta be honest. I don't really quite get, why some people seem to be so... I don't know what you call it, like anti... the change. Because, I mean, I kind of agree with some of the points they were making and things like that, but I don't know. Their arguments just seem to be... I don't know what... they felt like they were sort of rooted in a different thing, if you see what I mean. So they're kind of making a different point, but not expressing it as that point. Because I just couldn't, in a sense, get on board with... that's fine. It doesn't really... Yeah, I say it was just sort of strange, a sort of... yeah, I just couldn't get it effectively. What the points they were trying to make. Well, no, I understood the point. It was just, it seemed to be strange arguments against something that is just fundamentally kind of better in a sense. So maybe if I put that there. I think I've gone a bit wonky-eyed on that one. Where are you outputting? So you're doing that like that. Yeah, so I sort of didn't necessarily like fully disagree with their points, but I don't know. I think it was because I don't know if one of like the underlying thing of it was they'd have preferred them to introduce a proper fluid mechanics system, but that type of request to me is very naive because fluids are just so difficult to do. As I said on the stream last week, Formula One teams spend millions trying to do something called computational fluid dynamics, CFD, and they don't get it right, and they spend millions on it. So any expectation that the Factorio devs are going to do some kind of realistic fluid simulation is just cloud cuckoo to me. It's like they're never gonna do that because it's too hard, and it's like no, skivers. I don't know. I don't know. People seem to have like oh, you just do this type approach to it, and it was just strange, you know. Of well, if they did that, why would that be better? You know, it was like I don't know. Yeah, as I say, I just didn't quite understand where people were coming from. As I say, I was kind of, even if I thought, yeah, I mean, it's a fudge, you know, it's not a good solution really, but people seem to be making it out to be the worst, you know. I say some of them, and as you say, they got banned and stuff from the forum for being, you know, kind of aggressive and nasty with it, and I was like, well, what are you on? Anyway. I've heard that they dislike the lack of latency through long pipes, and the unlimited flow of the pipe is if the pipe is full. Some flow limitations to a pipe could be a plus, maybe. 2.0 solution is also nice because of how simple it is. And I say that's it to me, and I say, you know, to me it sort of comes back to the point Rhaegar made about. Oh, thank you very much for the follow, Thunderbolt. That's very kind. Much appreciated. Oh, even if they made the fluid dynamic system RPCs, couldn't run it, need a supercomputer to do those complex things. Exactly, yeah. And it's like, I mean, I don't know if it's because Satisfactory has a fluid system in it, and in a sense, it is better than what's in Factorio. It's a bit more like an actual simulation. It has so many problems though, and they don't. And my understanding, I say, I've not really looked at theirs properly, but you know, they do head, you know, basically the height is their kind of limiting thing, and that throughput isn't actually a limiting thing in Satisfactory simulation. But I do remember using that system and just setting up a load of pipes. You know, I was trying to make plastic, and just like the fluid, basically, you know, even though because it's no, again, it didn't seem to have a pressure in it because the fluid went up. I put the pipes up a hill basically, and they sort of, the fluid kind of got up to a certain level in the pipes and stopped. And so you had this situation where effectively, you know, if you think of it as like a bend like that, you know, the fluid had sort of filled up to a point, and then it had lost the, whatever you call it, the head, you know, the height thing, and stopped, even though there's meant to be this, you know, pump at the base of it, pushing it in, overcoming that, you know, that gravity problem, and like it should eventually, you know, go over the top, but it didn't. It just stopped because the calculation it was doing was simply, well, the height is 10 meters and it can't go above 10 meters, and it's like, you know, I say it didn't have a pump on it, but that's what I had to put in. I had to put in a pump to get it to do some sort of a thing, even though, as I say, you've got a producer at the end that is pushing fluid in, and so it shouldn't matter. I mean, it wouldn't flow fast, but so even there, they're not doing a proper simulation. But it looks a bit more like a simulation, I think. Maybe that's why people sort of prefer it, or, you know, don't mind it type of thing. But yeah, I don't know, it's sort of very, very strange how wedded to people were to I don't know, the old system, which is just rubbish. I don't know, I just didn't quite get it, you know. I'd much rather have something that's just very, very simple for fluids, because I mean, and the other thing, and say going back to what Rhaegar said, that you can't see what's in pipes, you know. It's got that animation, and the animation bears no resemblance to how much fluid is flowing in the pipe or how full they are. It just shows the, you know, bubbly lines and, you know, a bubbly effect, and that's it. You know, so you can't really see fluid moving around. So who cares? You know, it's not, you know, not a problem to me. But there you go. That should probably be an active duplicate. Static height, yeah, that's probably it. Thanks for that, Thunderbolt. Indeed, and we'd perhaps be back to some wonky details That can be annoying to find and solve, yeah. I say that was always my issue with it. I didn't, I don't actually mind what they do as a way. I'm not wedded to them doing a realistic simulation or a janky one or a quick and dirty one or what have you. But the fact that you would put a pump down and that it would like not really pour fluid out of the pipe it was next to because some other pump was apparently pulling the fluid already, and it was just weird and didn't make sense and was not easy to diagnose problems on. And I'm not seeing any kind. There then seemed to be the argument of, well, that's why it's challenging, or that's why it's interesting because it's solving problems, and it's like, but those are problems that derive from the system and the way it's done. It's not a problem that is a challenge because it's a design challenge. It's a challenge because you're trying to work around a weird implementation, if you see what I mean. But yeah, so as you say, if the announcement is it's going to be 6 months, I think they may need to finesse how they present that if people get so angry about a bit of fluid in a pipe. Because I think they're already going to get some backlash, as I say, because people interpreted it as being it's definitely coming in August, on that Friday fact. So I think when it does turn out to be September, October, November, I think they'll get a bit of backlash there anyway, just because people, as I say, misinterpreted. In fact, I'm not sure that this entire blog really, and as I said in my video, I love this sort of thing anyway, so I'm really happy to get one. But I think it was heading off, the slightly later release date than people had interpreted. So that people who were thinking August would see this one and understand. Oh well, they've only just started the final stretch, basically. Okay, so ordering the barrels, we should also start making lube, and I should have not lube, sulfuric acid. Okay, so that gets us a bit of red and green, but as noted, biped. I do need to do platforms, really. I just don't have... If I set up the platform, I've got nothing to... mini landing pads and stuff, cargo rockets. Because if we bring them in at the moment, they won't have any contents, because there's nothing being put in any rockets. But yeah, we need a sort of a solution that's like that for these basic ingredients, because although it'd take ages to fill a rocket, it's then whatever it is, 500,000 or whatever green circuits. So I'm not exactly going to eat through that. Okay, so that's got some circuits. So if I then want to make a few robots, I would have some red and greens, and it would be about the flying robot frames. Okay. Now, don't have any... Well, I think I've got a load of big electric motors. Just because I brought a load up, kind of by accident. But aren't they? Yeah, they're lube, aren't they? Small electric motors. Okay, so if we set up a little production of them, I'm just concerned at the moment of running out of logistics parts, because they're all just falling out the sky, or falling out of space. So I just want to get something set up. But again, the motors and stuff I should probably be cargo rocketing in. Well, real pumps do have a maximum pump height, and they need booster pumps to get it up. So I say it is an attempt at simulation, and I sort of therefore get why people like it more, but it doesn't really do fluid dynamics and all that sort of stuff. There's no as I understand it, even in Satisfactory, there's no viscosity to the fluids, and it doesn't account for non-laminar flow and turbulence and all the stuff you get in real fluids that make them an absolute nightmare to simulate. Right, so I guess maybe we work backwards actually, it's probably easier. So if I we put a roboport here maybe, no, here maybe, bit of a thing there. If you're going to make some construction bots, and you're going to make some loggy bots, in fact maybe be easier. No, that won't be easier at all. I'll just put it there anyway. That. Okay, and then... Wait, which way around is it? Green circuits. Yeah. Cool. And this can make that. Yeah, I thought I'd done super done. There we go. And so I guess green, in fact, if we move that to them. Yeah, we'll pull in the steel for definite. Again, I think I've got a load of batteries kind of in stock, really. Just from, like coming up here with a full inventory and stuff. Have we got any batteries? Maybe not. Maybe not. Yes, there we go. 3,000 batteries. Okay. I think given I'm just trying to solve a relatively simple problem, I'll probably just order them in then. We want batteries, there we go. And then, let's say, have I got a load of big... 62, okay. So that's not really enough, is it? Let's put you there then and make some of those. So it needs a lube. The more realistic it is, the more annoying it is when it's not 100% realistic, I think. Yeah. Yeah, you sort of got to go... full on. Did this work? Yeah. I wonder why they've not taken them out. But well, I guess because I'm probably down to, yeah, down to 77. Attrition rate is really high, isn't it? What would it take to do the next 1,600? Wowzer. I suppose it's only 30 a pop, but that's a lot. Okay. We'll leave that for now then. Green circuits, small motors, steel. Okay. Should I put them in a chest as well? Don't know. Don't think particular need for them. But let's just do that. And then what are we going to need? Steel and green circuits. Steel and green circuits. I'm just thinking, I'm not sure that... How can you not be bringing steel in? Oh. I'm just wondering if the blue motors don't use... Oh no, okay. Here's copper wire. how about... Because in theory, I guess... might be sort of doing batteries there. If I use this longer term. They're not in that, are they? Oh, of course, batteries is plumbing. In fact, can I place chemical labs? Or do I have to use some other funky machine? Why am I looking in there? Cannot be placed on space platform. Okay. So where are batteries made? Biochemical facility. Of course, biochemical facility would definitely make batteries. Can I handcraft one of them? Or do I need to use... No. That's quite a recipe. Oh, and it's made in space manufactory as well. Okay, so even if there was one of them, aren't they one of the massive ones? I'm not sure, I've not got one. Yeah, okay. Oh my word. Yeah, okay. That's a big lad. That's a big lad. So in theory, if that was doing batteries, I'd say it's probably not how I would do it. Then actually, maybe if we move that up there. And then, you know, in theory, maybe it'd be doing something there, but I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that. And then you need those, so let's request the ones we've got. Iron plate. Where's our plate? This is the thing that always messes me up with these mods. You get stuff being moved around, or because there's extra things in the ingredient list, and I just get very confused. So if we do that, I'll get you some gear wheels. Plate. Need them in there. Cool. Oh, I didn't order in the loot and stuff. No, other way around. That. So we do that. Ooh, there we go. So hopefully we'll get a bit of a trickle of bots. I guess I should set some limits on this. Always forget, is it Z for... No. It's X. Of course it's X. Why would it not be X? So Z is less than 100. I didn't set a number on it. Cool. Cool. Lee Hobo best viewers on what? I assume you're here. You're another bot here to sell me viewers that I'm not in any way interested in buying. I don't even know what that is. No. Account created. No. Okay. I wonder if people actually do buy those. I guess they must. Always seemed a bit sort of pointless to me. I put that on fill because I'm an idiot. we go. Why have you not? And then, how much loot does each one need? Oh, 40. Okay. Right. And I guess I should also set up a little recycling thing here. The barrels. I've got recycling facility on my list. There we go. I should probably start capping these, shouldn't I? Yeah. I'm not expecting to have these long term. This is just because. Oops. Yeah. Because I'd made none, basically. Right. Let's give it 2. There. Yeah, that's right. In fact, maybe I should force it out. Imagine we've still got quite a backlog by then. So maybe if I stick that to 400, fill the chest. I've got 3,000 in storage. Okay. Wow. How are we doing? Have we? Well, I'm sorry. We've made some. Yeah, made some blue circuits. Got some green ones still. Yeah. Some red ones. Yeah. Yeah. All good. We've not made any bots because. Oh. Turned it round because I changed the recipe. Okay. Oh, and I guess I could put extra ones of those in a box, maybe? Available constructions, bots. Yeah, so that gives a buffer of 100 on both, I think. Yeah, cool. Okay. Helps if I set the recipe, doesn't it? There we go. And then these are super slow, I think. So, how much spare power have I actually got? Oh, quite a bit. Right, so that'll mean we won't run out of bots, hopefully. Fingers crossed. It starts chugging through. Now, the real question is science. I shouldn't really have emptied this, should I? Or am I gonna move it from there? So I haven't really decided whether I'm kind of going to bother with anything resembling a bus, or if I'm just going to use bots. Because working a bit more on Nauvis, I can start bringing in more of these basics via rocket, because I'm almost at that stage. How many landing pads have I got here anyway? Oh, that's a point. I could do something with the scrap, couldn't I? What does scrap recycle to, isn't it? Yeah. I think I'm better doing that on Nauvis, aren't I? Broken cards. Okay. So maybe we have a cargo rocket that sends scrap and stuff back, maybe? Yeah, okay. So what... I'm forgetting about that. What I would just like to set up next is a little area that makes some of the machines. Particularly the old... what's it called? Space manufacturing? Oh, it's a lot of big electric motors, isn't it? But I have to make cosmic water, don't I? I don't have that knocking about. But the other stuff, I mean, I guess the space assembly machines, I did set up a thing on Nauvis to make a bunch of those. What are they? Oh, they're big electric motors as well. Maybe if I set a few machines up making those as well. Just so that we don't kind of run out for now. Because they're each going to need whatchamacallit if I do it like that. So maybe if you're the debarreler, and then the other bit, well, I'd have to make, I guess, the electric motors as well, wouldn't I? So that goes there, and then, well, how quick are these? 0.8 seconds. Wow. And then those are 10 seconds. Okay. Crikey. Space pipe is something I should make as well, isn't it? Because it's ridiculously expensive, space pipe. Ridiculously. Okay. How are we doing? Right. I said this was going to be a chaotic one, didn't I? Do you think they will, or an uncoordinated one? I literally, the video that you watched, and maybe other viewers have watched it as well. But when I said it live at like literally just in time for you to be able to, if you started watching as soon as it went live, it would. That's basically. What was I saying? What point was I making? I set the what do you call it? The schedule on that 10 minutes before it went live, so that I could dash off and do something basically. before setting the stream, setting the stream up essentially. So that's how late it's all been running really this weekend. Actually, this morning I got up about half an hour before my alarm usually goes off, and used the facilities, as it were, and then in fact, I don't need to set that, do I? And then went back to bed intending to just get a sort of a nap while I was waiting for the alarm, and then I rolled over and 2 hours had gone by, and I'd literally overslept by, in fact, 2.5, no, more than that, isn't it? 2.75 hours. So I'd slept through my alarm, which I never do. I never sleep through my alarm. But yeah, I was just exhausted, I think, because I was up till 1 o'clock doing the initial edit of the video, and then I had to finish it this morning. The woes of a YouTuber, eh? The woes of a YouTuber. But yeah, no, it's just to sort of say that it's sort of a messy weekend it's been. Because I'm also trying to watch, the Grand Prix, basically. In fact, that's a point. Oh no, but it's on. Oh no, it isn't. I've missed the qualifying, haven't I? Oh. What am I doing? I don't want to request that. I want to request. No, don't request that. Those, but I don't have some of them. So we need something like that. Gear wheels here. $150, crikey. I wonder where it's getting gear wheels from. Did I put them in the chest, Evie? No, I didn't. Interesting. So yeah, it's all been a bit sort of chaotic this weekend. And it didn't help losing... Oh. Oh, it's taken out our power pump. Yeah, losing 2 hours for no apparent reason. Oops. So that's the additional cable to keep it going quicker. Yes, we probably want actually stacky boys on them. Bring stuff in. Oh, so we just need the barrels to be there, I think. Nice. $200, I don't do. Wow. Cool. Do you think they'll reveal anything on Aquila on the techs you unlock at the first 3 planets? Or the techs you unlock on the first 3 planets before release? I think we'll find out what Aquila's about, in the sense that as I said, did I say it in that video? I'm going to say it in the next one if not. But I think there's like a super manufactory, like an equivalent to the Foundry, EMP, and possibly the bioreactor that you unlock on Aquila. I think that's your prize for essentially winning the game. Is a effectively like a, you see how the space manufactory is like a sort of super powered assembly machine. I don't think we're getting a level 4 assembly machine. I think we're getting a super manufacturer, a uber manufacturer, whatever you want to call it, that is able to manufacture essentially really science packs, you know, that it can make science packs, normal science packs, because, you know, we get a huge boost for the Gleba one, the Aquila one, the Falgora one. It would make sense for there to... Did I say Aquila? I didn't mean Aquila. But Volcanus, Falgora and Gleba buildings have this huge 50% productivity bonus, and are able to take more modules in the machine and are bigger, so you can get more beacons on them. So all of those factors mean that you get massive productivity boost for the alien planet space science packs, the science packs, but you don't apparently at the moment for the Nalvis science packs. So the you know, your red, your green, your blue, etc. So there's got to be a building that will do that for us, and I think that's the prize on Aquila. I think we will find out about that. I don't think that'll be, you know, some super secret or anything like that. Just because they kind of want to tell us what all the buildings are, so that to get, you know, people sort of maximum excited in a sense of what they are. But I don't think we will learn what the full tech trees are. I think that'll be left to, you know, for people either to discover if they've, you know, avoided spoilers, or, you know, for YouTubers to tell us what it's all about, sort of thing, and, you know, us on stream and all that sort of stuff. Because I don't think the tech tree will kind of remain secret for very long, and then it'll obviously go in the wiki and all that sort of stuff. So I don't think it will be secret for long, but I think they will leave it as a, you know, even if they give us like the main structure of the science on each planet, you know, I think a lot of it will be left, you know, to work out or to find out or to discover or what have you. It is kind of and I say, it's sort of weird how many quality of life Friday facts there have been, but when you read that one, you know, on Friday, it's basically explaining why, because, you know, when they were playing through, there were just too many pain points for it, you know, for given all the weird new logistic systems. It was clearly just too much messing about or working around things, or, you know, like compromises and all that sort of stuff. It still seems to be going down, which is not good, is it? Why is that still rubbish? Because that's rubbish. Why are you rubbish? Because that's rubbish. And is it requesting cable? It is. It's not really delivering it. Okay. But maybe give some more here. Don't know why I put it there. Just not delivering the copper quick enough, is it, really? It's like a diminishing returns, isn't it? Because, wow. Oh, have I not set a limit here? Is this causing us some problems? What have we done? So minus 500. So it's full. It should be stopping, but it's not stopping. Why is it not stopping? Because that's getting a negative signal. Is it? Oh, wow. Stop blowing up my space base. Turn that off. So it's saying minus 500 still. Why is that? $100, $200, $300, $400, $500. Why are you doing that? Why you do that? I'm gonna have to switch that off manually, aren't I? Okay, so it's getting a signal of minus 500 still. Why? What have I not wired up properly? Oh, the actual thing's not wired up. Rookie error. That's not wired up. Yeah, 1.4k now. Yeah, rookie error. Rookie error. Oh, hello, Night Raven. Hope you're doing well. I'm still hoping that Quidditch is more complicated than any of the previous 4. Oh, I'm pretty sure it will be. I think, at the very least, from a logistics point of view, because they have said, haven't they, that you can get soft locked on Aquila. So basically, there's got to be missing resources, which means that if you arrive there and you've not got, your cargo rockets, your rockets set up to deliver iron, or if they're missing, I don't think it's a likely soft lock in the sense that so long as you're loading in somewhere in your system iron, copper, steel, the basics, then you can just divert a platform there, and that gives you those resources. So it's not a hard, difficult soft lock, but to me that implies Aquila doesn't have some of the resources, which means you've got to set up a proper logistics chain. And that's maybe where the whole, from what the commenter was saying, I don't know if it's confirmed or they were just speculating, but that would be why you would do weird things like sending grenades to Aquila, even if it maybe doesn't have enemies or something, because then you've got to use recycling to turn it into iron, to coal, and get your resources that way, because they're not native on that planet. So I think it's going to be a lot more complicated, but a lot more complicated in a logistics sense rather than necessarily having a mechanic that's super duper complicated. I'm going to be a bit disappointed if my ideas about, building a spaceship to get you home, and if all of that, it's not, and it's just, I don't know what the equivalent would be, but it'd be, the simplest solution would be they would have the equivalent of launching a rocket in the base game, and I don't know what that would be. Launching an interstellar rocket or something, maybe. I hope it is something along those lines, but something that gives you that 12th science pack, because there's going to be one for Aquila so that you can do Aquila research, but then there's going to be a 12th science pack. I'm pretty sure they've said that, and that's going to be your infinite end-game science pack. So I suspect that one will be quite complicated to make because you'll need to bring it, Gleba stuff and Volgora stuff and Volcanus stuff and Nalvis stuff. Stick it all together, and of course Gleba stuff is got spoilage on it, and all these other bits and pieces of complication. And getting all that to Aquila, making the stuff and using it somehow. I think that's going to be quite a complicated challenge because I don't think it'll have any native resources. The bit that's missing for me is the why does that mean it's Aquila? But then we're still missing what makes Gleba great? What's the point of Gleba? We know we've got spoilage, so what? We've not got any. We still don't know why that's a good planet to go to. You're going to be using little repair kits at this rate. Yeah, it's a bit of an annoying mechanic, that, to be honest. I wish it had a warning, that it had some kind of, this is why it's happening thing, and you have to work it out each time. It's usually just user error. It's never, very rarely, some problem with the system. It's usually just me that's done it in a dumb way, basically. Imagine everything going through a single landing pad too. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting challenge because I mean, doesn't it act as a logistics hub as well? As in, bots can pick stuff up from it. I think that's what I remember from the Friday facts, but I might be wrong. It's still not making any kind of rate. Oh, I never had it on the copper one, did I? We're right here. We're right here. Yeah, it's just not bringing in copper at any kind of sensible rate. So how about we stick in maybe Reveal that. I'm sort of getting a diminishing returns, aren't I? Because I've not got any bots, and the bots are dying as they bring in stuff. Now down to 67. So how about we just go a bit old school for the copper. Except we can't. Where are you getting your copper from then, guys? Where are you getting your copper from? There's only 4 there. Where are you getting your copper from? Over there. Okay. Right. In fact, why isn't more coming in? Did one just arrive? I think one just arrived. But yeah, why don't we stick this on a belt? They've had it over there. Yeah, what I need is rockets full of copper and iron and stuff, and you know, sending it on a belt properly. Really. Kind of messing about with what I'm doing. If we do that, maybe. Because what I was hoping to do is set up some of the space belt manufacture as well, but I haven't got that far. Do I have any of that space belt? I don't think I do I? Because that's like... I mean, do I have the recipe right? I don't think I do. Because I got that space belt. Oops. No, yeah, I need all sorts of stuff for deep space belt. We could get some bacons as well. I fancy some bacon. Okay, that's a bit more like it. Other thing I could do is get them to bring over the other big engines, big motors. Or not, you know, you could not bother, guys. Do it myself then, shall I? I'll do it myself. Oh, when did I get hit? Did I get hit by one of the capsules? Crikey. I don't think it was human error. Yeah, engineer error. Imagine going through this. Oh yes, yeah. I don't know how the landing pad thing's going to work, as I say, because my memory is it is a logistics station as well. But if it isn't, and it's just take it out by a belt, then that could be quite interesting. I suppose we do now have, obviously, because if you imagine, because it's a big building, I think, as well, and I think you can, I think when you put like extra storage on it, that increases the space that you can take it out, as it were. But if it's like that, and you can, if you think, as I say, we now have obviously the stack inserters. So if you did like an extreme thing, I mean, guess you'd maybe, you know, combine them together. But what's that? If it's this big, then you'd have 9, 18, 27, 36 sort of inserters on it, effectively. Which is, considering to say, they can be green belts and stack inserters. Like stack inserters, not just... inserters. And of course, you know, they're not going to fill a belt on their own, but a couple of them together. Or you could go down the route of, you know, multiple long-handed. So I think you'll be able to get quite a lot out. But yeah, it's an interesting sort of bottleneck to add. That could be quite fun to play with, I think. Okay, so in the assumption that it might work, because what I think I'm now doing is I'm robbing all the other gold ones, which is unfortunate. How many landing pads do I have? Because it would be nice just to set up. How many we got? A sort of space. So I got 3 more. Okay. Because we could just put a little build on the bottom here. And this is where... Oh, I've done it again. This is where we can have all the landing pads sort of set, maybe. Because eventually we'll get space trains and stuff, don't we? I don't remember whether the landing pad was some logistic thing, but at least the silos are requesters. Are they requesters? You mean as in... I suppose... They're requesters for their contents, I think, aren't they? Because in that image on... I mean, I suppose it could have changed, and probably has changed, but in the one that has all the rockets on it, in the most recent Friday Facts, it does actually have proper requester chests. You know, for the blue circuits, rocket fuel and low density structures. But it didn't have requester chests for the actual green... bulk inserters, did it? I'm trying to remember. So I wonder if they can request, you know, inventory items, but they can't request, you know, bits to make the rocket parts. I wonder how that's actually going to work. That's quite an interesting point, actually. Anyway. Yeah, we want a whole kind of thing for doing stuff. And I guess the other part would be warehouses, maybe? Do I make them logistics warehouses? Because I think I can now build them, even though I've not built them. Have I? No, I don't think I have. So, I think I can add in here. Oh, I have got I've got the storage. I haven't got the requesters, have I? So what are you? You are strong boxes. So, I think, yeah, I can now do... which ones are missing? I've got the red one and the yellow. I've not got the... So that would be... Active provider. Buffer. And requesters. So then this would be... What are you? You're the store... I don't know why I'm making all of these, because I've barely used them. You know, the only ones I'm actually using are the warehouses. So... Storehouse, yeah, active provider storehouse. Buffer storehouse, and... Requester storehouse. So we do that. And... that. I think that's fine, but then I need to put... Oh, I'm missing an out. Yeah, I'm missing an output on those two, but I also then need to set... So this was the request a strongbox. And we don't want any more than a stack of them, which is 20 I think. And then buffer strongbox. And provide a strongbox. It says almost certainly no point making any of these, but stick them on anyway. So, get that one, and then that recipe there. That would be that one. This one would be that one, I think. Yep. Now you need to be... So if you're... Let's do the active providers there. Buffer... Greaster. Let's put that in there. That one. That one. I do quite like this remote working thing. As I've said before, it's a little bit janky, but it is pretty cool. Being on one planet and working on another. Oh, I've not got a inskirter there. You've got your thing set, you've got your thing set. Yep, and then you would be the level 6. You're 20 as well. Cool, so that gives us all of the storage options. Just trying to make sure I've not messed anything up. You've got anything happening. You need one of those, but I don't think that's why you're not doing anything. No, you've just not got a recipe. Okay. No, that's not actually got anything in it. Well, I guess because they've gone into the other ones. They're quick to make, aren't they, some of these? Those. Cool. Okay, so that gives me all the options. So yeah, in theory there'd be some sort of warehouse associated with this, so that I can put things in and, you know, make them available, and then we have sort of a line, something of those. And there'd probably, I guess, be, as I say, some sort of system for. In fact, let's just put in another strong box. This is where I'm thinking I will use the things, because you get a lot of the rocket parts back, and you can improve the recipe and all sorts of stuff like that. So we might as well take advantage of the tools we've got available. In fact, let's maybe do them around the roboport. Maybe that'd be a bit better. Can we do that, mate? Okay. Yeah, it was some peculiarity with it. If automated, it could only request one item. I don't know. As I say, I think yes. I think that for when it's automated, I think it can only request one item. But there was something about that you could manually set some, as in you could pull in, you know, if you just needed 5 inserters, then there was some manual system. Because they're going to have to have something equivalent, to this, basically, where, I'm remote, so I have to be able to set all recipes and all that sort of stuff. And if you've gone up to the platform and you realise, oops, it's missing, let's say, 5 inserters because it didn't have them when it was building them, and so they're left as ghosts, and you can't really set off because they're, the inserters for your crushers or something like that, so you wouldn't get any fuel or what have you. If you just want to order 5 inserters, then I think there's some manual thing for saying, insert it as a cargo thing into the rocket. And I think that's just normal request to chest. I think it's just, you set it on 5 and it sticks them in, and then you can launch that rocket. I think that's what it was. But if you want to make it part of your, so like that example where it's launching stack inserters or bulk inserters as they will become, then you can do an automated request. Excuse me. But that automated request is it's just one type of item. The bit I don't quite understand with it, although I think they did try and explain it, was the whole it's got a weight limit. Does it automatically account for that, basically? So if it's 2 stacks of stack inserters represent the maximum weight of the of what it can carry, if you tell it to request 400, will it let you request 400? Or do you just say, right, fill this rocket with stack inserters? Is it more binary? Is it sort of like you just set what it's requesting and it will wait until it's got the right weight of those items? Because I think it was a one-to-one type relationship. I'm wondering if I set this up. Although space trains can float in space, can't they? Because they're space trains. So I think eventually these have like a 111 space train on the bottom. Maybe? It's an idea. And I'll have to rebuild it all and stuff, but we could then do manufacture of some basic stuff here, if it's just easier to do it, and the rest comes in by a train, and then this is sort of a logistics area, and I can go and find and build some different things. How far off are space trains? I think they're quite a way, aren't they? Is it under track or something like that? Unless there is no space train. Can I just build trains in space already? No, there you go. Space railway, that's it. And I need something called an energy science pack, which I'm nowhere close to. It's quite cheap though, isn't it? That's in the territory of just make a few. Deep space zone discovery. Ooh. So how would I make purple? So we would need a bunch of machines, but those only require blue science, which we can in theory do. I'm going to have to pop over to RAN to fix that. We could maybe test a second iteration of my little build everything. Then I can't remember what errors that I picked up I'd need to fix. But then we need energy catalogues, which would require all sorts of weird things. Marvellous. Significant data as opposed to insignificant data. What's the actual recipe require? Sorry. So that needs energy insight, significant data, energy catalogue. Oh, it needs holmium as well. Okay. That's annoying. Oh, there's one of the those are the things Zisto was calling candy floss, the ion streams. Pink candy floss and blue candy floss. And yeah, this looks like a load of stuff that I'm not making or even quite understanding how I would make it. Okay. Marvellous. It's not too far off in the tech tree, but a lot of production I'm not doing, basically. Okay. Okay. How are we doing? Have we started to build? We've started to build up robots. Excellent. That's what I was really after. Excellent. Okay. So we are 2, 4, 5 landing pads off. Can I just cheekily make them? Can I even remember where they are in all the recipes? Oh, I pressed the wrong thing, didn't I? There we go. Landing pads are there. Oh, it's a lot of concrete and stuff. Okay. Right. I've got 2 of them then, so we can go and put them in. So, what am I thinking of ordering in? What am I thinking of ordering? I've not done that very symmetrically either. Because I'm wondering about maybe... I mean, I think green circuits are worth just bringing here anyway. But at what point do I just make things? Because obviously if I'm bringing in red and green... We could bring in acid steel via cannon. Maybe? Right, let's... Right. Yeah, as I say, you know, so it's like with the motors. Is it worth sticking all of those on a rocket? it does feel for me like I want to put in some sort of mini factories, essentially. Especially now that I've got sort of proper production of the old space platform going on. But I'm slightly torn because I'd quite like to do them via train. You know, and I'd quite like to just use these little blobs of asteroid. You know, sort of turn that into a thing that makes, I don't know, gear wheels or something. But I'm sort of getting ahead of myself, I think. Yeah, we'll just set up some small productions of things, I think. Oh, it's 6 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, I think what I'm going to focus on is getting a few more sciences done tomorrow, basically. Whoops. So we'll see if we can't put in a little bit of... Where are my Discord rules? Oh, yeah. Bit of production so that we can do things like the coal liquefaction and stuff I was after. But the other one is the water ice, isn't it? I think what I'm going to do with that is, because I do have a load of cannons here, what I don't have is the production of the shells. I think if I mine this up... Oh! Do these work in space? I think they do, don't they? Yeah. I haven't got any though. Huh. Why have I not got any of them? I thought I brought them out with me. But then why would I? Yeah, if I just mine this up, stick it in a doobry, one of them, and just fire it at... And we can just use all of this up, basically. Because what's the actual process? I can't do it, can I? Because I don't have... yeah, water ice. Oh, 1 water ice becomes 100 water. Okay. That's quite good then, isn't it? But you have to... Oh, you can use chemical plants. Okay. And can I just launch it? Can I just launch it? Yes. So we'd need to make delivery cannons. Delivery capsules, rather. Explosives. Explosives. I think I can... Yeah, I can just send them. Okay, so we need a one for explosives. Yeah. So we could make a little thing making the delivery capsules down the little... Let's not call it make everything there. The botched together temporarily area. That's not very snappy, but it'll do. But I'm going to need more of these, basically, aren't I? I was a bit preemptive with this, I guess. Just get rid of it for the time being. Oh. Yeah, apparently. I can always extend these into this area, I think. In fact, wouldn't be bad if it just kept going, would it, really? So yeah, for now anyway, we'll stick with cannons, I think. Le canon. Is that called the wires? Cool. I've forgotten. It's gone 6 o'clock. I need to stop. Yeah. Okay. So let us put the schedule on. I didn't change the schedule picture, did I? So I've had so much. Well, so much I should have done. Yes. So that's it for this week. No, it isn't. That's it for today. Tomorrow, hopefully, my brain will be working properly, and I won't say stupid things like that. That's it for today. I will be streaming again tomorrow, exactly the same time. Hopefully, I will have also put the second part of the video of the analysis for the Friday Facts Live. What I usually do is promote that as well. So if you're new here or you're a first-time viewer or anything like that, I have a YouTube channel as well. And I put all of the VODs of all of my live streams on that channel. So you'll be able to catch up on this whole series where I'm bumbling my way through very slowly and very badly through SpaceX. But I've done loads of other Factorio series. So I did like a no spoon run, and I did the I did like a series where I tried to make a pretty bases, aesthetic series. And I did like blueprints, where I was building a load of blueprint series. And I also did like a mega base run. What else have I done? I can't remember with the Factorio ones. There's loads of them. But there's also then other manufacturing, building, management games, such as Tectonica, Satisfactory, and Dyson Sphere Program. Several series of Dyson Sphere Program. Yeah, all as VODs and stick them on in the background type stuff. But also, every week what I do is a analysis and speculation video for the latest Factorio Friday Facts. I usually go quite in depth and try and give a bit more context on some of the things they're talking about, and kind of a deep dive type approach. They're an enormous amount of fun to do, and people do seem to enjoy watching them. Really like to see comments on them as well. If you've got any thoughts on the stuff I've speculated on, or other thoughts about the stuff that's in there, particularly, and also if there's things I've missed, I always like to see all of that sort of stuff. So if that would be of any sort of interest to you, then you can find it on my YouTube channel, which is mentioned on the side here. But as I say, I will be back tomorrow with more of this. We will hopefully make a bit more progress to actual doing the the vulcanite science, which was what I thought we would do today, and instead I've just sort of bumbled around. But yes, otherwise I kind of need to make some progress on Nauvis and get rockets going, because we're kind of getting into a stage, I think, where some major, logistics of the very low level, iron plate and all that sort of stuff would be quite useful. But also then I need to set up water ice. I need to get the coal liquefaction on the go. There are all sorts of things to do. The plan for this series is basically to keep it going until Space Age arrives. I don't think I will get anywhere close to finishing this. I think I'm being so slow with it. I can't really see how I will make that much progress. Obviously, if I get bored or annoyed or frustrated with it, I'll switch out anyway. But yeah, the idea is just to keep going until Space Age launches, which is looking like October. So we do have a few months. But yeah, what else is there to say? I don't think there's anything else really. Back tomorrow. Continuous run basically until Space Age, because not really got any holiday plans. Yeah, cool. So if you have been watching, I hope you've enjoyed it and you might consider coming back for another one. I've been Trismegistus. This has been Factorio. Thanks for watching. Cheers.